Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everybody. Welcome to the Metaverse Nomads podcast, where we discuss the play-to-earn games that we are all currently involved with. Our focus lately is 100% Star Atlas, the largest and most ambitious AAA play-to-earn game in the space. At its core, Star Atlas is a space-based metaverse that will challenge its players to team up, organize, and fight their way into unknown territories. Joining me today are my fellow Metaverse Nomads. We've got Whitticus, Ultra, Ray, and Fancy. How are you guys doing today?
Rocking it. Excited for this one.
Very good, very good. I know we're going to get into some news here for a second, but we do have a special guest that we'll introduce when he gets on board here. But that said, I think we can get into some industry news. Who would like to cover some things? Ray, what do you got for Axie?
Mike?
Hello.
Hey.
We're live.
We got you.
We got it. Okay, strategic developments. Okay, so on the Axie front, we have the 30-day total volume at $610.4 million. So that's always nice to see. One marker of a successful game. And then we have a post by Jiho, the lead developer on Twitter, that caught my eye and I thought it was worth a mention, that the retention rate for the game, which is currently increasing, has been steady for the majority of the time since 2017, around 75%, and that goes to show that people are still playing the game, no matter if the SOP prices are going down, up, sideways, as well as the prices of Axies themselves. So that's something to look at. A lot of metrics that you should pay attention to, other than the price of smaller potions. And last but not least, the season 18 ended, and the rewards will be distributed to the top 1,000 players in Access. Access was the rewards, the governance token. So I guess that's to be announced. It doesn't happen right away, but other than that, that's what we got for Axie Infinity. I would like to mention also the Mystic Axie floor is increasing as well. So there was a couple of double Mystic Axies that were sold for 65 Ethereum and wow, higher, I think, just the other day. So there's a bot on Twitter you can follow. Just as other projects, they have these bots that automatically post a sale and over a certain amount, or in general, whatever Axie is being sold. I think it's the Axie bot tracker, and you could go ahead and follow that and see all the sales that are happening. Big numbers here. So
I've got a question. So you mentioned season 18, so is about to come to a close. Wow, that's 18 seasons. Does a season have a particular length and time? Like, how long does a season run for?
So this one was a month. And okay, there was a previous season that was also a month, but it does vary depending on what the team announces it to be. But usually in the beginning, it was a week or two. I think it was 2 weeks long that a season would take place. And that was when there was less than 30,000 daily active users playing the game. So I guess now there's way more competition and there's way more money to be earned if you win.
So a season has a theme, it seems, and it also seems that this allows the Axie Infinity team to kind of make adjustments for how the economics work based on what the incentives are during the season. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. And besides that, it's the data that they could accumulate within a longer period of time frame, which ultimately helps the game in the long run for future esports, competitions or things that are going to be taking place in the esports realm, which is soon to be coming, if not already happening, because there's a lot of guilds that are throwing their own tournaments, and there's a lot of official type of tournaments that they host. Axie Infinity, the team.
Cool. So, I've got one last question for you. You mentioned on our prior episode that one of the ways that they might help regulate what's going on within the whole game ecosystem is to incorporate the burning of Axies. Is that something they've mentioned, has been mentioned recently? Do you anticipate that coming?
Yeah, that was mentioned a long while ago. So it was something that was talked about a couple of months ago, but it wasn't pressed again because I guess the daily active users, it was something that kind of went under the radar because of the sudden growth, the exponential growth that took place. And there was a lot of people not knowing more about the game other than just buying a team and playing, or scholarships to earn small love potions. But it was definitely mentioned a while ago and that's just going to be when the game comes out for the official free-to-play version, if you want to call it that, so people can just test the game out and then follow up and buying a team if they're interested.
Cool.
Fantastic. Well, we are fortunate and very honored today to have a special guest. We've got Santi, the Star Atlas Community Manager, joining us today. Santi, I think somebody's going to bring him up to the chat here really quick. Santi, welcome to the podcast. Glad to have you here. Excited to see you joining us on your busy week. How you doing today?
Hello, guys. Can you hear me correctly?
We can hear
Yes,
you.
we can.
Very
Loud and
perfect.
clear.
Well, glad to be here, man, and thank you guys for inviting me. It's really an honor to join. I have been watching the latest episodes, and I think it's really great what you're doing, and really honored as Star Atlas to have you covering our stuff. So yeah, man, thank you very much.
Very
Thank
good. So before we get into the actual dialogue, Santi, I think Jesse wanted to give you a win here. He's got something to share with you that I think will boost your spirits for the day. Jesse, what you got?
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get ready. Get ready.
So, in the past, I've had a chance to listen to some of your previous interviews, and what we kind of learned about you through that experience is that you've been a gamer since you were a kid. So you're a gamer first, blockchain enthusiast second, and
Exactly.
yeah, one of your first consoles was a Sega Genesis, and so one
Yeah.
of the games that you were a fan of at that time happened to be Paperboy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you did your research, man. You did your
Yeah.
research.
So you'll notice
Yeah.
right down there, it does say Genesis. So you were questioned there for a moment whether or not this was a Nintendo platform game, which it was, but it
Yeah.
absolutely was on Sega Genesis. So we just wanted
Yeah,
to
man.
redeem you here and let everyone know that in fact, yes, you were playing Paperboy on the Sega Genesis console.
Yeah, thank you
For the
for
record.
confirming, man. I was pretty young, to be honest. Like, I don't really know what was the first game that I played, man. I was just born playing games. So yeah, I remember this game playing with my friends. Like, we did tournaments of this. Like, we were super young, and we played tournaments of this, and it was a super funny game. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, we just had to give you the support that was well deserved. We're behind you, Santi.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, I was questioned for that, man. Like, that was from Nintendo. No, man. You're ruining my childhood, man.
Rewriting history.
So, Santi, before we get into Star Atlas, can you share a little bit about yourself and how you found yourself on the Star Atlas team? I think there's a lot of people who know who you are, really appreciate the work that you do, but not everyone really understands how you became a part of the overall team.
Yeah, man. Of course, of course. So yeah, as you mentioned before, I'm a lifelong gamer. I don't even remember what was the first game that I played. I just went ahead and I never changed that mindset. And I also started to like do some community management on Instagram and different pages. I was bored like in high school. I was doing nothing like you do on high school, at least here in Argentina. I was doing nothing, so I decided to go ahead and create a page on Instagram. It was of hamburgers. I'm also like a foodie, so I started doing that. That was like my first experience, like community management, if you want to say that it was community management. And then I discovered blockchain. I got to know like Bitcoin in the peak of 2017. Thankfully, I didn't buy anything. I just got informed. So yeah, and then I got full time into crypto. Like when I got to know Ethereum, I started doing my research, and my mind was absolutely blown. Like every single day, every single thing that I read, and the inclusion that this gives to everyone. Like we all know, like the blockchain technology, and especially myself being in Argentina, that's a country that you are very limited in terms of the economy. I lost a lot of opportunities just because being born in Argentina, and blockchain opened like all the doors for me. And like I said, I am a lifelong gamer. And when I found the niche of blockchain gaming, I started doing a lot of research again, and happened to me like the same thing that happened when I saw Ethereum. And yeah, my mind was absolutely blown. I got to know like Axie, did my research there. Not a fan of Axie myself. It's not the kind of game that I enjoy playing. I fully respect Axie, of course, but it's not the kind of game that I love to play. And then I discovered Star Atlas, and I read the white paper, and I feel like everyone here has the same feeling about that, you know. And I saw that they had some open positions, and also in community management, I was working in a newsletter, a crypto newsletter in Spanish at that time, managing all the social media for them. So I saw the opportunity and went ahead and had some interviews with Pablo Quiroga, co-founder, and he ended up hiring me, and here I am. That's my story.
Oh, nice.
That's fantastic, man. So you were there at the beginning of the community before you were the community manager, and now
Yeah,
you're. I mean, I'm not sure how many thousands are on the Discord now, but there's a lot.
we are nearly at 70,000 right now.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh.
What an accomplishment, truly. How have you seen the community change overall from the early days to now?
It has been like the change. It's insane. I really can't can't believe that we went so far. We are like we grew a lot in so little time, you know. We went from when I joined the team in April. I joined the 1st of April. We were like on Telegram, 1,000, 1.5 thousand, I think, and on Discord, I think we wasn't even 1,000, to be honest with you. And then we started like it was really difficult to start like uh, to start a conversation, you know, to even talk there. We had the Interstellar Alliance, that was the first guild there. They even proposed the creation of the guild recruit channel, and that was the only thing that was at that time, to be honest. We had Danny really active in the channels, also Michael. Michael is always active. Big shout out to Michael. Like
Yeah.
he really does my job easier with that channel, Chat with Swagner. And yeah, there was nothing, man. I knew that we needed to focus on setting up the basis, you know, for the explosion that was coming, because we know what we were building, and we knew that people will be mind blown, especially when River was going to start. And that was our first boom, you know. That was our first boom. We started with the town halls. We had, I think that 30 people, 40 people joining only, and
Wow.
sometimes 20. I remember. And yeah, so we went from that to what we are now. Like we experienced the full boom. I think when we launched the tokens, also the trailer. And yeah, I think we built the basis, and I had to plan everything to keep people entertained, you know. And it was really difficult, you know. It takes a lot of time to do something cool and innovative for a lot of people. And now I feel completely different, you know. Now I feel like you guys are the ones entertaining me. Like you're like Metaverse Nomads, you are creating stuff inside Star Atlas, and that's really awesome to see. And it really makes me feel like we have accomplished something in terms of community. And right now we are mainly focusing on building an environment for you guys to have fun building and to keep growing. So those are the changes, man. I think that
Right.
they are a lot.
Yeah, I wanna just add to that. I want to thank you first off for being in the trenches this whole time, throughout the whole growth, and just being there helping people, as well as the other guild leaders who are in the main server for Star Atlas. You know, if it wasn't for you guys, who knows? You know, like really, there could only be
Thank
so
you,
much
man.
yeah, there could only be so much done by Wagner and the team themselves, but they have all these other responsibilities to take care of, as you know,
Yeah.
building the game. So, but on that point, also I would just like to share how I was there before the posters were released, and I was keeping up with the news, and I was in those those town halls
Yeah.
that were, you know, I had a different default photo at the time, I guess, but I don't remember. But you know, I was listening and keeping up with the project, and then I dove in, and I got some posters, and I was just following it every week. I would have it on my calendar. So just from then to now, it's amazing. And you know, you again, kudos to you, man. You're doing a great
Thank
job.
you,
So
man.
keep
Thank
it up.
you. Thank you.
I
Yeah,
would like.
I
Go
really
ahead.
remember the days in the river, like the first day, the launch of the GOI, the poster. Oh man, like we were, it was an experiment for us. It was the
Yeah.
first thing in the market that we launched, so I had to keep up. I was the only one, like, we didn't have any moderator or anything. I was the only guy there, so I was just holding the trenches there.
Right.
And yeah, so it was insane. It prepared me for what was coming, like now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I met. Go ahead, Ray.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. It's all good.
I was going to say, well, I imagine your role has changed, kind of somebody who's promoting the game to now. It seems like you're getting called in to solve problems a lot. So it seems like your role has changed a lot. Where whether it's people doing fraudulent stuff on Discord or people having issues with the exchanges, seems like you're being called in to be the guy who solves all the problems. That must be pretty frustrating at times, and your DMs must be packed.
Man, I still have like 100 DMs that I haven't answered. It's insane. Now to find the Star Atlas server, I need to scroll down a lot, man. It's insane, and I can't keep up with the DMs, to be honest. But right now we have a lot bigger team in terms of community. We have mods on Telegram. In those times, I was covering Discord and Telegram on my own. Right now we have 3 moderators on Telegram. We have Suhail here on Discord, and we are planning on hiring more and more. So yeah, we're
Well, to that
scaling.
end, Santi, are you looking at hiring on actual paid members or just volunteer
Yeah,
members?
yeah, we are building the plan. We are building the plan, but we think that we need to focus a lot more on support stuff. Because most of the things in the community come from a support standpoint. When we launch things, if you are in the chats, when we approach a launch date, it feels like we are launching a 10K generatives. The FOMO is real, man. It's the same. If you participated in some launch of 10K generatives,
Yeah.
you may know the vibe. Everyone is
Mhm.
spamming in the chats and everything. Yeah, so we need people there, and we are looking for that. So if you want to be a moderator, if you are interested in being in spending time in the Star Atlas Discord server, feel free to reach out to me, and we're constantly looking for new people.
It has been impressive to see how many of the community members have actually been helpful to others with their questions as they come in.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, we have 4. I think right now we have 4 community moderators that are Funcracker, 16, Prometheus, and I don't want to forget an Egonact. I don't know how to pronounce his name yet, but big shout out to them. And they are helping a lot. They have been here since the beginning, and yeah, they were. I mean, Prometheus, Egonact, and Funcracker. They have been like the ones that I spent time chatting when there was nobody chatting in the Discord server. And to see them and all the other people, I mentioned them because they are like the kind of official mods there, but everyone, you guys as well, that help newcomers and help with some customer support stuff. It really blows my mind that people has the time to help like that, and yeah, it really makes me proud of the community.
Where it
Yeah.
really shined was during the ship sale. So rather than people saying, "Hey, buddy, you're on your own," that means more ships for me. People were actually saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
here's how you do it," and they were helpful so
Right.
that everyone could participate.
Especially that person that did the live. Oh, like the 3 or 4 people that did the live, and like, here you go, man. Here, this is how you do it. Click here, and that's how you do it. And I was
Yeah,
like,
man.
I'm like, damn, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, there are like voice chats forming in the moment of the drops.
Yeah.
That's really helpful. Like, I join, I don't speak because I'm with a lot of stuff at the same time. I can't speak, but I join and I see all the people helping, and it's awesome.
Well, it sounds like you might have your volunteer tech squad right there sitting in that chat because they do a really good job of helping. I think
Yeah.
what the unlocks that I'm seeing, we see it within the guild and we're seeing it in the community as well, is you're finding these people who want to lean in and provide support or help some way. We see it within the guild when we give somebody a responsibility and they run with it and do way more than we ever thought. And I imagine you're probably seeing the same thing on the Discord. We've got, wikis, we've got writing competitions. We're seeing so much creation just for passion of the game. What are some of the things that have excited you that the community has built?
Man, everything, like everything. When I joined, like when I started working here, it was a whole new experience. I I came from posting pictures of burgers in in Instagram, and came here like I was part of different like communities of gaming and
Mhm.
crypto, but I have seen nothing like this, to be honest. Like I have seen nothing like this, and it really there are a lot of things behind the curtains that of community members that don't really post on
Mm.
the channel, but they reach out to me and say, hey, I think that I can help like doing this and setting up this bot, and maybe if you reorganize the chats like this, I have some experience doing this. And yeah, I mean, all the help comes organically, and that's what we need to see. That's what we like to see.
Right. I would like to ask, speaking from behind the scenes, would you be able to give us a sneak peek behind the curtain of when big events like when the IDO or the GAO, the GAO, like what is it? What's the underlining experience? If there's anything particular you could share, is it like a mass meeting and then there's like a countdown, like the ball drop for New Year's, and then it's a go? Are you in a control room for blast off? And everyone's just anticipating anything crashing. Like, are you in the room with them, or are you on the outskirts just doing standby? How does it?
Yeah, it depends, man. It depends. I remember Revert was like that, and also the launch of the trailer. Because when the trailer launched, I didn't have to do any support. I mean,
Okay.
it was just a video. So we launched there. We did a meeting and saw the trailer live. It was awesome. But when we launch things that may be difficult for the community and newcomers to participate, because if you don't have experience in crypto, you may struggle a little bit in the intergalactic asset offering, for example. Like you may need to enter the market manually on Serum and all that stuff. That if you are really a newbie in the crypto space, and maybe you are not even a newbie in crypto, but it's difficult. Like it's not an easy process, and it's a process that it's still on the works, and it will improve over time. But yeah, when that happens, I usually join the team meetings at that time, and just mute myself and go to the field. You need to go to the field.
The
And yeah,
battleground.
but the teams work like at all times when things are launching. the they are all meeting, and the teams are working at like at real time.
Hmm.
And maybe you launch something and you find a bug at that moment, and you need to fix it. And yeah, so it's really it's a fast paced
Right.
thing, like launching that stuff. You can
Right.
get stressed easily.
Yes, absolutely. The reason I ask is because this is something that helps build the community in a way that makes
Yeah,
it seamless between the community and maybe the higher up dev team or the people who created the game. It's more of like we're all in this together versus other games that you might experience, even NFT drops. You're in the Discord, right? You're in there when there's only 100 people, and then it becomes 10,000 people because they have this generative art project. But then, sure enough, there's not anything being shared to the extent that gives confidence in the community themselves besides
yeah.
investment. It's just emotional connection. There's a lot of that happening with the team and its community, and with all guilds as well. That
Yeah,
I've seen.
that's my role. For example, like I'm really the connection between the team and the community,
Right.
and I really tried. I work in a lot of fronts when we launch things. Like I need to keep up with the chat and see and in which parts are people struggling, or if someone found a bug, and I have to tell the dev team. So
Hmm.
I'm really that connection, and I really try to focus a lot on providing a good experience, and for people to feel like, yeah, we are working on what we are doing, and I'm trying to find all the information that you guys need. And that's what I try to do. Like it's really stressful at the moment, because sometimes you can't communicate correctly with the team because they are full hands working,
Hmm.
and sometimes the information, it's you take some minutes to reach the information to reach to you, and when I have it, I share it. but you have to receive the tomatoes out there, and
Right.
that's when the community acts, and I feel like super supported by our members. And again, a huge shout out. I try to, when in the town halls, and every time I can, I try to let our community know that it really feels like the help that you guys give to us, we can really feel it.
Thanks.
Well, in the topic of communication, Santi, you've done a lot of work working directly with guilds and building a communication pipeline. I don't know if everybody knows, but you keep in touch with the guilds specifically on their discords if they have one. And I know you're doing some work around creating some sort of area within the Star Atlas Discord to bring guilds together, at least guild leaders. Are you able to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure, no problem. What happened is that in the past few weeks, guilds are getting a lot more serious. Like, you have to decide a faction.
Yes, we are.
You have to commit. Like, this is the moment where everyone really commits themselves to the game. So we are trying to build like the correct environment for guilds to grow and to communicate between themselves. So one of the main focus of my work right now, and the team in general, is to provide that good environment for guilds to be able to grow and to be able to communicate correctly between them, and to be able to set up partnerships, and to use Star Atlas as the Star Atlas team, the support of the Star Atlas team as a method to grow. So that's the objective right now, like to provide the communication channels needed, to provide the support needed, and we are going to focus a lot on that. I can tell you.
Nice.
Do you anticipate the channels on the Discord being kind of an armistice zone where guilds work out their issues, or do you think it's more about partnerships and just sharing information broadly about the game?
Yeah, I really want the Discord to be like that. Yeah, it's a goal I have for guilds to be able to communicate and to do that between, like, inside the Star Atlas server without needing to go anywhere. So we are working on that, and we are working on setting up that in as smooth as we can.
So you talked a little bit about the game already being afoot. Those weren't your words, but I think that's what you were implying. What type of things are you seeing that are surprising to you now that the different guilds and different players are quote unquote playing the game before the mini game even starts?
Everything, man. Like I said, like Michael says, we are already playing the game, and everything that comes organically from the community is fantastic, and I really appreciate everything that everyone does. For example, now the AFIA guild is hosting like a write up challenge where we will read the stories, and I haven't read anything. I want to read all at once. But yeah, all those things, like all the help and everything, it's awesome, man. Like the organic content that the guilds are generating, and the level of commitment that we see from you and from the other guilds, it's insane. So yeah, thank you for all you do, man.
Well, we've already seen, within our own guild, we've had to kick out one spy, so we know that game is afoot. We know that the guilds are playing against each other. And I think that different guilds are figuring out or looking into this type of thing. But, from protecting what your assets are to looking for spies and talking about how you're going to approach other guilds, I think the dialogue between not only guild members, but even across guilds is really starting to step up. And we're seeing some interesting back channel conversations going on for sure.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying, that we, as Star Atlas, we should provide that for you, like the back channel conversation and everything, also as a way of moderating that stuff and preventing like a disaster. Maybe, I don't know, but yeah. I mean, all the guilds are also setting up partnerships like insane. Like it's insane, not only inside the Star Atlas ecosystem, but inside the Solana ecosystem as a whole. I mean, guilds and DACs are being like projects on their own, and they are setting up partnerships on their own.
Right.
And that's what we like to see, man. It's like it's the growth that we love to see.
Yeah, what's kind of interesting about that is that we don't really even have enough game mechanic knowledge yet to even know what kind of partnerships can be established. But yet you still see alliances forming. You do see a lot of announcements of faction selection.
Yeah.
And were you surprised to see that so early on?
I mean, yeah, it's like myself, for example, in a personal, from a personal standpoint, I was decided for Oni since I saw Oni, because I felt that, like, I mean, we are humans. I'm not going to choose mood. Uh, I don't like really being a robot, and just like all the possibilities that Oni brings to me, and from a personal standpoint, it's really I really want to be playing that like right now. So yeah, in terms of guilds, I love seeing what they are building, because you're really deciding doing this. You're really deciding where Star Atlas is going, because if you guys start building something, we need to adapt and to build at the same pace as you know, and it really levels up the Star Atlas ecosystem as a whole. So we really encourage everyone to build inside Star Atlas, to come with proposals. Uh, I'm sure that you will feel like we are listening to you, because we really want to promote this. Like the people building and the creation of new stuff is what really drives Star Atlas forward.
I'd say, as far as communities go, I mean, in other communities in the past, I've been known as quite a critic, and I was as far as to say,
Understatement.
yeah, I was go as far as to say, as now that I have a point of reference for what I believe a good, healthy dialogue can be between a community and developers. I really do think that Star Atlas is kind of carrying the torch with that, because the fact that we have open line of communication where the CEO will actually answer questions,
Yeah.
has a dedicated channel, and is in there regularly to such a degree that I almost even feel compelled to say, like, hey, people, make sure you're asking the right questions. You realize this is a luxury that you have an open channel like this to be able to get these
Yeah.
questions answered. One of them that I actually asked this past week that was answered pretty quick was I had the question of how might it be handled if you are making transactions between factions? Like if I have multiple wallets, could I easily send something from one wallet to another, hot swap, to kind of bypass kind of a hack to get my goods or ships across the universe? And
Yeah.
it was shared with us, which I think is a brilliant idea, is that each NFT actually has XY coordinates. So no, even if it gets sold, it still has got to be retrieved, which means it creates a greater opportunity within the game for striking up deals to have something delivered, whether you go pick it up yourself or you hire someone to deliver it to you. So I think that was a great.
It's a game changer, really. Like
Yeah.
it's really a game changer.
Yeah.
It's really important for the in-game like how you will play in game. Like if you will be able to do what you were planning to do, it will like it will hack the system, and it will like a lot of professions that will be and careers that will happen inside the game will be useless. So
Right.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. And all these questions were coming to me previously, because Michael was preferring Telegram, for example. I don't know why, but what he really liked Telegram, and Telegram has all these kind of questions. I like Telegram as well, but in Telegram you don't really see the people who are really committed to the
Yeah.
game, or only a few. We have some really hardcore members in Telegram, but it's still less. It's not the majority. And in Discord it's the opposite. And having Michael here in Discord answering questions, it really makes my job easier, and it really helps you guys it's a direct channel with the CEO, man. You can ask everything, and he's really open about that, and he really cares. I can tell you that he really cares about the feeling of the community, and now that we are like we feel like there's a lot of thought going on inside the different channels. We really look at that, and Michael especially, and I think that having that possibility to speak directly with him from a community side, it's great, because there are a lot of questions, man, every day, a lot, and a lot of people think different ways to approach the game,
Right.
and I don't have all those answers, man, and Michael for sure has them.
Yeah, and when he doesn't have the answers, Bumptious is also there. I had a question,
Yeah.
and I got referred, and my query was sorted quite quickly.
Yeah. We tag Bontius as well, Danny, and I love when we have him on the town halls. I really try to have him like every day, and I DM him and try to push him to join the stage, because I know that you guys love having him, because he's the one who really knows how the in-game features work.
Oh yeah,
He's the
totally.
wizard,
I have
wizard behind the curtain.
I have 15 screenshots of his just answers just on my PC.
Saved,
Just
ready to
tucked
go.
away when people ask questions. I use them quite a lot.
Yeah.
So it's interesting about that chat with Michael, because that's the channel I go to now. I don't go to general. I don't go to any other chat. I go to that one first and just search for what he's shared, because he's really your biggest source of leaks right now. Also, so it's nice to have the CEO dropping some leaks, because who's going to tell him no? But I think that strategy has really helped, because behind the scenes, I know the guilds are grabbing whatever they can and sharing internally and trying to decide what it means to them, and if they need to do something with it. I mean, when that ship document got quote unquote leaked by Michael and taken away really quick, that got shared. I mean, whether he wanted it to or not, that got shared broadly in different guild chats. You just saw it happening.
It went viral in like 2 seconds.
Oh yeah, and it really built a lot of momentum and excitement. So if it was intentional, it was the right play, because I think it really built people's expectations of the ship launch and things like that. I thought it was fantastic.
It might as well have been a press release.
Yeah, exactly.
Breaking news. There you go.
So Santi, you shared that you talked about joining the Oni. And I think there's an opportunity. I think a lot of people have a question. We all watch other games for what could happen in Star Atlas, and a lot of us look to Eve. And within Eve, we saw that there was some drama early on in the game where developers were joining factions or guilds and providing some sort of incentive. So do you plan to join a player guild or a dev guild? And how do you think the Star Atlas team is going to keep that separation of a perception of favoritism?
Yeah, so my main answer here is that I don't even think that the team members thought about joining a guild, for example, because they don't even have the time to think about that. They are building like all the time. They are building, and myself as well. But I really like seeing like I really like my neutral place, because I can interact with all the guilds and have no favoritism with anyone, and I feel that that's the correct way to build it. But yeah, I mean, I will have to join some guild eventually. I don't know how I will manage that, and if there's going to be any like, I don't know how to say it, but any rule inside the Star Atlas team to not join any guild, because that may happen or anything. I don't really know. I'm just speculating right now. But in the meantime, I have a lot of fun watching the guilds evolve, and yeah, man. It's my decision for Oni is taken. I'm an Oni 100%, and because I'm going to be a bounty hunter, I think that the stealth and scanning distance is going to be important for me in deep space.
Absolutely.
And do you have a particular race within Oni that you want to play, and maybe we don't know this, but we see all these different races that we assume are in Oni, whether it's the Potali or some of the other races. Do you have your mind set on a race, or just Oni right now and you'll figure that out later?
Yeah, I will figure that out later, to be honest. I like Fotoli, for example, because of the story it has. But I really want to take my time for that decision, There's still time to do that.
Yeah. I would like to make a note on just how, in my opinion, it would be a shame for the whole team building out the game not being able to play at any point from the mini game all the way up until like the completion of the game. So I don't doubt that the team, and as well as you said, Santi, you guys will be playing, but it wouldn't be on a scale of like a guild would be playing, or the individuals within a guild. But I would love for everyone to be playing that's on the team, because
Yeah.
it will
Yeah,
give
man.
a different perspective of how the game is, the economy of the game, but also just the enjoyment. And I'm sure everyone talked about it, and there's probably going to be plans for that. But as long as the in game resembles closely as possible to what real life has to offer when it comes to the economy, the businesses that might pop up, the transportation, whatever you want to call it, it's going to be a more seamless experience, and there's going to be less chances for any hacks, like Jess was mentioning
Yeah.
earlier, where you can just make another account and swap something, because now we have the XY axis, or the coordinates, just like in real life. So as long as the game resembles as much as real life as possible, we're going to be safe, I guess, from any exploits or hacks that could
Yeah,
take
man.
place.
Also, that comes with the blockchain technology. It's all
Mhm.
transparent. And
Right.
you really can see all the movements that happen. And if you see something like, if someone does something like hacking and something big, everyone
taken.
will realize. I mean, it will take a minute to realize that.
Right.
Well, on the
So-
topic of blockchain, what was it like to have the Solana blockchain just drop on you guys? That must have been just disheartening to see that happened. Considering that your game is kind of built on that blockchain. I know Michael has demonstrated very positive thoughts towards the developers of Solana, and I think that's the right play. But at the same time, when the blockchain goes down and your livelihood, your game depends on a blockchain, there must have been some pucker factor going on when that happened. What was the behind the scenes on Solana going down?
Yeah, so we were not really worried a lot because we really trust the Solana development team. They are great and they do a great job. And like Anatoly said, it's better to go down now and not when we have a billion users. So I feel like the whole ecosystem learned a lot about this. And I don't really think this will happen again. I can't predict the future, but we really trust the Solana chain and the Solana team. We are really happy and not worried at all about something in the future regarding Solana. I see a bright future in Solana and also the scaling and everything that comes with Solana. So yeah, we are really happy to be in Solana and to continue building and helping to I think that with our drops and with every project that is building inside Solana, yeah, all teams learn a lot from that. And yeah, I only see a bright future in Solana, to be honest.
I was pretty excited about the price dip that followed. That pleased me, and then as we've seen even recently, it's already recovered. And as you
Yeah.
mentioned, I think it's a great thing for this to be happening now, because essentially it's a stress test, and the more things like this that are identified as what happens and what can be done once you put that kind of load on the system, it just makes the system stronger.
Yeah, man. Yeah. There was a lot of people coming to Solana, especially like from Ethereum directly to Solana, and that's a lot. That's a lot. And I think that Solana is getting ready to onboard more and more and more and more people. So, and having this issue right now, it just sets the start now to not happen again in the future.
Especially, it's better when it happens when the game isn't out. Like,
Yeah, man.
you guys are
Yeah.
still in the development, nothing was on sale, so it's like, we're lucky.
Really, like it was for us, it was like the perfect moment to happen because we weren't selling anything, and we that this week we sold the the fashion with the Fabricant collaboration. So yeah, we weren't in the middle of the GAO or anything. So yeah.
I think what's interesting is how many people are being brought to the Solana blockchain by Star Atlas.
Yeah.
I knew about the chain, but I never paid any attention to it until I got affiliated with Star Atlas. And now that that's happened, I'm starting to see so much opportunity outside of Star Atlas for me personally, as far as staking and things like that. There's so many cool projects, and it seems like it's going to be a hub for gaming, based on what we're seeing as we look at the blockchain.
Yeah, that's something that we really see in the community. I see a lot of times the same question. It's one of the questions that pops up the most in the community, and it is like, where can I connect my MetaMask? and we are like, no, my friend, you are in Solana. You are in Solana.
Yeah.
It's a new experience for you.
Yeah. If you're
And
gonna
yeah,
transfer some of that soul, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they say like, how much is the fee for buying the ship? How can like what
Wait, fee?
percentage of? Yeah, and you are like, what fees? Man, they are less than cents. So yeah, it's really you feel good when someone enters Solana and starts saying like, wow, this has no fees, and it
Right.
works, and we are really happy to be onboarding a lot of new people, and that's something that we are putting a lot more effort in the future, because we are not only onboarding people from other blockchain to Solana,
Yeah.
but people who are doing their first experience in crypto in Solana. And let me tell you, like,
Mhm.
I wish I like my first experience was in Solana.
Saved
I
a lot
would
of
have
money.
saved a lot of fees, man.
Right. So,
You know, that's,
Mhm.
that's another area where guilds are actually coming in and creating a collective experience that makes it easy for people that don't already have familiarity with wallets and blockchain. I know that within Rome, we've got a whole section dedicated to Crypto 101 and helping people understand what that
Yeah.
process is like. So what that does is it enables gaming communities like people from Eve and others that may not have ever even had any blockchain experience to have kind of a support network to help them through that process and make it pretty easy to help them on board.
Yeah, it's also a really good way to onboard people into your guild, because you see like it's a good recruitment strategy for guilds to help the newcomers, because you remember when you first join something or when you first do something, who are the people that helped you. And yeah, it's a good strategy to build upon if you're a guild. So thank you guys for doing that for the newcomers. I feel like everything 101 that we have, that we could have for newcomers, it's great, and we should promote that a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted to. Go ahead, Vince.
The more you guys do it as well, like every drop, it's going to get better and cleaner. Like I personally got in like the last hour of Armstrong Forever drop.
Hmm.
If I would have gave up, which I was about to a couple times because I didn't have Solana in my account, it doubled literally like the next day, I believe. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
I
thanks
know.
again, Banjo.
I missed it.
Rest in peace.
I'm
But
really glad I bought a few, man.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people are.
I
Yeah.
as well. But it is true that the more you're focused on just the growth of the space and following up with it, the further away you get from where you started, and how you're able to empathize or sympathize with someone who's going through it, and you would have to almost
Yeah.
backtrack. So having, like you said, all the guilds taking up the mantle of helping people, whether in the server or in your own respective guilds, it's a definite help. Definite help.
Yeah. It's something really important, because that's where we really grow. That's really where the things happen, you know.
Mm.
We are not going mainstream without onboarding new people. That's not going to
Simple.
happen.
Yep.
Yeah. So Santi, you mentioned briefly that you said you wanted to be a bounty hunter in game. So how
Yeah.
else do you plan to show up in the game, and what kind of assets, if you're willing to share, what kind of assets have you bought to participate?
Yeah, of course, no problem. So I'm actually at tier 2, so I'm using a lot of those ships that I got. And my main objective is to be a bounty hunter, because I always enjoyed a lot the PvP experience. That's what I enjoyed the most in games. I have a huge, and when I say huge, believe me, I have a huge background on war games like Call of Duty or Battlefield. I don't have a lot of background in space gaming, so this is also sometimes I find myself in a new experience, but I can adapt easily because of the experience in other games. So I feel like I can really exploit that PvP experience inside Star Atlas, and that's why I want to be a bounty hunter, man. I'm focusing only on deep space. I'm
There you
all
go.
in, man. I'm
Oof.
all in.
There
I'm
you go.
all in.
So does this
Wow.
mean that you're for hire right as of now? Was that your pitch? Was that your pitch that all guilds and all players across any timeline?
That's my pitch, man. That's my pitch.
You're ready to hunt people down. You're
I have
hired.
a good resume, man. I
It's
have
gonna
a
be
good
like
resume.
It'd be like the Boba Fett of Star Atlas, just flying around. It's like
Yeah.
not Santi. It's like, oh shit, we gotta stay away from that guy.
Yeah, I really want that to happen, and I feel like you will be able to get a name inside the deep space when you start conquering stuff, and when you start killing people, you will be able to build a reputation around you, and that's when the bounty starts to come.
You know, within the ships, one of them that has not gone on sale yet, but it's within the Gao ship brochure, and it's actually listed as a small bounty hunter. It's the Visus Amboy. It's the only one. Do we have any ideas or even speculations as to what we think might make for a bounty hunter ship? I mean,
Man, I'm really in the same page as you when it comes to these things. Like I just get to know these things like 30 minutes before the launch, for example, and I read everything. So I feel like I'm a part of the community with some privileges, you know. and it's really fun for me. It's really fun. I really love it to be this way, because if not, I will leak everything.
That was kind of my assumption, and that's one of the things that we actually really enjoy doing here on the show, is that we theory craft. I mean, half the stuff we share has nothing to do with anything we've ever learned. It's just like what we speculate or what we might want things to be. So at least for me, when I think in terms of a small bounty hunter, I'm thinking like, is that a ship that is like just equipped for stealth so that you can sneak up on people? It's small, so it's probably short range, but I just love how there's so many different angles to the ships themselves and how things are coming together. Whether it's like you said, you have an idea of a profession that you're looking forward to and something, the way you want to participate, and others, they might want to do space exploration or want to be a fighter pilot. So there's all of these different ways to accommodate how a person wants to participate. But that's interesting. You share bounty hunter.
Yeah, man. I'm really looking forward to that ship, and I will buy it for sure. To be honest, I'm buying everything that may help me for my profession.
I guess the big news here is if anyone ever wants to take it out on Santi, look for him in deep space. He'll be out there somewhere looking for somebody else, right?
Deep space, I'm risking. I'm taking my risks, man.
Sleep with one eye open.
I want to find Iris, man.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
Yeah.
I would like to bring up a point I made on my sheet here from earlier, that for guilds related to this game right now, as the game already started, even though that was one of the earlier questions we were talking about, I wouldn't just stress that it's not going to be all about combat. This game is strictly just not combat. So a lot of what's going on with the building of these guilds is to acquire as many assets and as many people with whoever bought ships and who has the most money and whoever can whale in. Like, there's a lot of that going on, and how much money a DAO can have in its coffers to buy ships and land stakes and claims and all these things. I want to just stress the fact, although it might just be later on in the game, there's going to be a whole like a world of different things when it comes to art, when it comes to businesses of different kinds, commerce, right, trading, and not just battling. Although so my point is that Rome, right? We just opened up. It's an announcement, more or less, but we opened up our art channel because as Rome had in history, they had a very rich art history. So if you are an artist and you are in Rome, you can check out the channel. And we also have a memes channel. So it's a generic channel that mostly every Discord has for the most part. But it's always great to keep the memes and the art going because there's so much talent out there. And sometimes there's not a platform for these types of people to express themselves in the best way that they know how. So we're just, across all.
Memes are important. Don't underestimate the power of the memes.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
That's something you learn in the community. And also the art, guys. You are called Rome. You need to keep up with the title. You need to have great
culture.
Artists. Yeah, the culture. It's
for the past few episodes, we've actually had someone that watches these live that has been doing sketch art from something that's been mentioned or something that's happened on the show.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's amazing. The creativity that gaming brings out in people is fantastic. It's fun to see all the way around. So, Santi, you had talked previously, or maybe it was Michael who mentioned it in a town hall, and maybe you have some more information about it. You had talked about, or he had talked about, an ambassador program for Star Atlas. Do you have any
Yeah.
more information on that, or?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember when he said this specifically, because when I'm in the town halls, I'm more worried about getting everything to work like behind the curtains. So I don't really listen to. I listen to what Michael says, for example, but I'm focusing on what's the next question
Right.
and moderating. But I think I remember him saying this as a program to build something like 101 in crypto, to onboard new people, and that was one of the
Mm.
main objectives of that. I feel like he said that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember him saying it like something like this.
Yeah, so it was just a passing comment by Michael in the town hall. He was just talking about the community and how they're trying to make it easier for people who are new to blockchain. And
Yeah,
he used the word ambassador, and we all kind of just latched onto that.
Hmm.
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That was kind of a leak. I got to know that program in the town hall. so So yeah, I feel like we should ask him for more details on this. To be honest with you, just spam him a little bit on chat with Swagner, but there's going to be something built around this, and to encourage people to help. And I feel like an ambassador program, like someone with a reputation to help newcomers, because it's a powerful thing to have the reputation inside the server and inside the game, because people start to trust you, and especially when newcomers appear in the server and everywhere, they are really easy to scam. Like
Oh,
they
yeah.
fall
Yeah.
really easily. If you're in crypto, and if you're in crypto for a long time, you know that you need to triple or double or triple check like everything that you see,
Hmm.
and that's something that doesn't happen everywhere. So that ambassador program, if it works in that way, I feel like it's going to be a big responsibility for the people who take them, who take the position of being that.
Yeah, on that note, a bit of a public service announcement is, speaking of scammers, there are a number of sites out there that are attempting to do a Star Atlas knockoff, such as staratlas.art, and they
Yeah,
immediately try and connect to your wallet. So, folks, make sure that you're actually going to the actual correct and authentic Star Atlas website.
yeah, bookmark it or something.
I would also like to stress that the best way to do that is through the official Discord server. If you go to the link section or channel on any of these NFT gaming projects or games, you would always have you could rest assured that everything is there, and even before you click on anything, you could always ask someone, a mod or a member of the team.
yeah,
So don't
exactly.
rush into anything. There's always time. You're super early. Just secure the seed phrase and always ask before you press and click anything.
Yeah, man. That's something that w- people really need to be educated on. That, I mean, if there's something that sounds good,
It's not good.
it's probably not that good.
Trust me, he
It
didn't
could
win.
be, but double and triple check, man. Double and triple check.
Absolutely.
You didn't
Yeah,
win a
it's unfortunate.
sweepstakes, I promise.
Right, right. Well, I deal with fraud in my professional life, and I see a lot of these things showing up on Discord and XRP, so I think I'm in tune with it. But some of the stories that I've heard are heartbreaking, honestly. I
Yeah.
have somebody who I'm affiliated with who just had 80,000 XRP stolen from him from this type of scam. And that's, for a lot of people, that's life-changing money, especially if there's some growth behind that. So I really do appreciate the effort you're putting in on the Discord of capturing these, looking at them, because I think we do have a lot of people who are new into the space and just want to be gamers who are just getting, waxed on behind
Yeah,
the
man.
scenes on some of this
And we
stuff.
have been working this weekend, especially because this week, I mean, general chat was a scam prevention chat. We had to change the name, man. It has been insane. And people are falling, like people are really falling, and they are making a lot of money out of this. Like the
Oh,
scammers
man.
are making a lot of money, and we really need to prevent this. And there are some bots that are starting to implement this functionality of auto ban. And I don't want to reveal all the tricks that we are going to use, because
Sure.
then if there's a scammer watching this,
Right.
but we are putting a lot of effort and thought on this. It's really heartbreaking to see someone who wanted to buy stuff in game and to participate losing their money to things like this. So it's really a priority for me and for the team to protect our community from this. If you may have seen on Twitter, if you follow me, I had I made a call to everyone inside the Solana ecosystem and the projects to build like a channel at a server where we can communicate with each other and ask things and collaborate, and I see a lot of people having the same issues. A lot of projects. I mean, like every project. I'm in nearly every server inside the Solana ecosystem, and I have DMs from like Aurori notifications, Degenape notifications. So the scammers. This is a group. They have good technology for doing this, and we really need to stand up and fight these scammers, because we don't really want people to lose their money, man. And they are using really efficient methods, and they are getting better every day. So we really need to get better as well. And that's one of the priorities that I have right now as the Star Atlas community lead, like to protect all the newcomers and all the people from this. So I'm really putting a lot of thought, and also I have a lot of people from the community helping me by doing this and setting up bots and everything. So again, a big shout out to them. A big shout out to Treauloni. I don't know how to pronounce correctly his name, but he also built the tickers on the
Nice.
Star Atlas server for the prices.
Right.
So I feel like the less I can do is a shout out to him.
Of course. So before we kind of round robin, we know we're at the end of your time, Santi. And
No
then we'll
problem,
give the
man. I'm
opportunity-
having a lot of fun. So go ahead.
Oh, great.
Thanks.
Fantastic. Well,
What's your social security number? No, I'm joking.
he's from Argentina. He's not from the United States, right? So,
Of course. What's your
Yeah.
secret?
so you've already shared that you don't get exposed to too much, but I think you probably get exposed to some things. And we're not looking for specifics, but what you know about the game and what you've seen so far, how much WoW is behind the curtain that we haven't seen yet? Because we've been wowed. I mean, we're amazed by this game. We're all passionately driven towards being successful within Star Atlas, not only individual but as a guild. Is there still a lot of WoW behind the curtain coming up over the next months?
Yeah, man. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot. Let me tell you that there's a lot. And if we make you guys wait, it's because of something. Like, it's not because we really want to make you wait and we are not working. It's because there's something. There's much WoW, and it's really hard for us to see all the FUD coming in the past days. Like, we are money grabbers and all that stuff, because we are really, I mean, I don't know how we need to convince people, but we are really building something, and we are building something epic. So yeah, that's all I can say without leaking anything.
I just want to add, is that the reason why the faction selection got pushed back a little bit?
I don't really know the exact if I don't even know like what was what is the new date or anything. Like, I need to catch up on a lot of new things. I took some rest this weekend and a lot of things happened. So yeah, I really need to catch up, but I don't know the exact reason because of that delay. So yeah.
Honestly, that's totally fine. But
Yeah.
even if you didn't have an answer, I would believe myself. Call me, delusional, but it's only gonna be less than a week or two. So a lot of delays that happen within these games, it's like months, and that
Yeah.
says a lot about where they're at with the actual completion of whatever it is, either a mini game or a drop or whatever it is. So I don't doubt that they don't have anything and they're delaying because there's nothing and it needs to be built,
No, man.
like a
No,
lot of
man.
other projects. Absolutely not. And people who say it's a money grab, they're not grabbing our money. We're giving it to them, and for specific reasons, right? So we're money givers. You're not money grabbers. We're the money givers, right? So we could spin the language there. We can do some changing of the verbiage, and we're pleasantly wanting to give money to you guys. You're not stealing anything from us.
That's good, man. That's good to know.
So, Jesse brought up at the beginning of the conversation that we've looked at some other games and we're a bit more critical of other dev teams. And I think it really boils down to the transparency of the Star Atlas team. As soon as something goes wrong, Michael's on a podcast explaining things and sticking up for the brand and explaining. And I think that goes a long way with the community and getting people invested. And there's a lot of trust that you guys are earning just by the nature of how you talk about the things that don't go right. So if we could say anything, just keep that up, because it goes a long way when people are spending. I mean, we know people spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in this game.
Yes.
And, even up towards the million mark. And when you see that level of investment and you don't have a team that's communicating to you, which we've seen with other platforms, where they're not communicating with that level of transparency, you really start to wonder if it is a rug pull. But Star Atlas is nailing it, right? As far as making sure people can feel like they trust that their money is going to be managed well through the lens of development.
Yeah, man, I have to give huge kudos to Michael on this, because this really comes organically from him. It's not like I need to tell him like we need more communication from this side or something. Like, he just does this because he has no problem on saying all what he says. And some thoughts that we have is like, why will we have problem on hosting town halls, on going live, on admitting that some things don't go the way that we want it to go, or that can go a lot smoother? Because we're really doing things right. So there's no problem on going out there and speaking about it. I mean, if you want to support us, well. If you don't, it's okay. I mean, you can leave anytime. I mean, the assets that you bought are yours. You can do with them whatever you want. I mean, you're the real owner of those assets, and do whatever you want, But we really try to communicate in a transparent way. Yeah, it's
I love just to jump in. I love how this is the first time I ever heard anyone on the team say that. Usually with some other projects, that's the first thing people say. If you don't like it, you have the option to just sell everything and leave before there's any type of consideration to go a level deeper than just using that as the trump card. That's the last resort of any project or company or business you walk into. Oh, if you don't like our smoothies, get out of our smoothie shop. Like, the banana's the banana, the apple's the apple. You're gonna all taste the same. The fruits are the fruits. You're here to eat or to order something or to buy something, and the product is the product. It's an inanimate object, right? It's the team. It's how the culture of the project, the Discord is, the consideration. All of these things come into play, which make a successful business, and then that naturally the money flows, and you don't have to do so much marketing at that point, as we see other projects in the space before Star Atlas and even after, who aren't doing it necessarily in a way that's going to be the most productive for them. Although they'll succeed because we're so early on in the space, it's almost like the people who were here before are going to be more successful than the new incoming investors to the space who are from the legacy system of gaming or investing. Just seeing the recognition of where they're coming from, right? The CEOs and their background, because your background really doesn't mean anything when you're coming into this space necessarily, right? It's what you're building and what you're executing on. So I don't necessarily look at exactly in that and give credit just to buy. It's a lot of what the community is, which is the foundation. It's if we had a pyramid, always check the community out and see if there's communication between the team, and there's a lot of transparency that takes place. So
especially in crypto and being so early in, also like in both of the niche that we are building, that is gaming and that is crypto. We know that a lot of things are built around trust, and the least that we can do is to be transparent with you guys, and I feel like we are doing a good job there. And we always listen to criticism and to feedback. Like, if you don't like the way that we are communicating something, or you need more communication from any side, just feel free to reach out to us. I mean, we really want to listen to you. We are open to listening to you and to do things differently if they are not working in some way. I feel like we are doing an overall good job doing this. But if someone doesn't feel this way, just reach out to us and tell us the feedback that you have. we are really open for that.
Yep.
Very good. Hey, Santi, before every town hall, they play some amazing music. And I know some of that has been done specifically for Star Atlas. Any chance of getting that on a Spotify playlist? Because I listen to it while we're waiting for the town halls. And in my mind, I need to get that in my car playing outside of town halls. So if I can make a recommendation.
Actually. It is uploaded
Oh, it is?
to audio.
Audius music.
Audius.
Yeah,
Got
yeah,
it.
yeah, it is uploaded. We have a playlist there with those songs, with those tracks. So you can go
Awesome.
there and listen to them. I actually listen to them in the morning, when
Well,
you
get you
wake
pumped up.
and- yeah, you do. You drink the first coffee of the morning. And you need to jump from the bed. Those songs are great.
Fantastic. So, we've gone through our kind of scripted questions. Do you have anything, or Fancy, or Jesse, Ray, Ultra, any questions for Santi that are sitting in the back of your mind?
Well, not exactly. I did have a comment, but before that, I would like to ask Santi, what questions do you have for us as a guild,
Yeah,
or
good question.
or
Oh,
as
that's good, man. That's
Yeah.
good. I
What do
really
you wanna
want
know from us?
to let's switch things here and
Yeah.
I'm the moderator now.
you're into it.
You're entering the wrong town hall.
We're ready. Fire round. Fire round. Go ahead.
So yeah, I just want to know, I feel like it's important to know, what's in which foundations is Rome built, what you want to achieve inside Star Atlas, and what's the objective of Rome.
I think that's a great question. I think we all have different things to share on that. I'll go first. So it's interesting. Rome came about by, I'll tell you, one of the interesting things I think influenced Rome from the beginning was a lot of us were a part of different communities, and we seemed to be the outspoken ones. And so that kind of brought us together, because we weren't really getting a lot of the answers we were looking for initially. And we love theory crafting. We love thinking about how things can be. And that's kind of how the initial foundation formed. But from there, the idea kind of spread to attracting people that really are excited about the metaverse, really are excited about the opportunities that are going to present themselves in play to earn, and really want to be a part of a community that wants to have fun, but we're also looking at it economically. We're looking at it logistically. We're looking at it from all the different ways that we can maximize what it means to be part of a virtual metaverse and actually turn in-game efforts into real-world value. So that's kind of what the foundation began as. And we've since our early beginnings, we've become incredibly organized. And we seem to be attracting a lot of amazing people and continue to grow at an incredible pace. So that's kind of our foundation. And way I see us participating in Star Atlas is from every angle imaginable. You saw how we were pretty quick to select a faction. We are an Oni-based faction within Rome. And that came a number of different ways. A lot of investigation with the information that we did have available, as well as kind of querying our ranks within. And we all came to that conclusion. So we seem to move pretty cohesive as a collective unit now as a guild. And I'm excited about what it means for Star Atlas as we unfold.
That's a great answer, man.
If I could add to that, I think collectively we all we come from an idea of how do we leverage our passion for gaming to also make money at the same time. So the fact that all of us are on the same page as a council, there's not one leader, there's 6 of us. One of them isn't here today. Bonafide's doing some personal work, so shout out to Bonafide. But we came together over a love of gaming and a love of crypto and a love of earning, right? And we see the network effect or the synergies of working together to lift all the boats, not just one boat. And we share that perspective for our guild as well, right? Whether you come with 1x4 or you come with $400,000 worth of assets, we are here to help everyone lift everyone else up. And become one of the top guilds within the game. And I think there's a number of guilds that are going to be specialized, whether they're shipbuilding or they want to be, protective services or something like that. But I think the top guilds really have to have their mind on being a multifaceted guild. and really approaching industry, approaching PvP, approaching the political piece. All of that stuff needs to happen if you want to be a top tier guild, and that's where Rome's mind is. And if we think about Rome as a foundation, we've got a whole civilization to pull from naming, from culture,
Yeah,
all that stuff, right?
And
So it
this-
creates this instant culture. And our members, they're just running with it. Like they'll make their own Roman names on our server. They'll do Roman memes. They do so much stuff under the name of Rome. And if you think about it, even within culture, media and television, there's so much resource to pull from that we're never at a loss of finding something that supports the work we're trying to do internally.
Yeah, man, that's something that I was going to ask you, like, why Rome? But now I understand, and I feel like it's a good combination, like, with the futuristic approach of Star Atlas that we are in the year 2621, and you being Rome, like, the combination is sick, and the possibilities are limitless.
Mhm.
So yeah, and from what I hear, you guys want to be a huge guild. I mean, do you have like, if we reach 10,000 members, that's it, or you want to keep growing?
So I would like to make a note on that. The reverse engineering of a plan is what needs to take place. So you can always adapt as things change, but if you're able to re-engineer a plan and execute accordingly, as well as adapt, then you'll have the infrastructure to take on any capacity of members. So that being said, there's no cap to what we can take on, but granted, if there's an influx tomorrow of 10,000, then we're gonna take take a day just to get everything situated. But
One day.
besides, right, one day, just even less than a day. But but my point is that we're all the guilds that are taking shape now and coming into their beginnings. They're gonna be little brothers and sisters, and almost mirror what Star Atlas is as a guild. So there's already a great example to look at and to emulate, which is Star Atlas, the actual server. So, and that's in my opinion. So we're not anything like Star Atlas as far as what you wouldn't see a mirror effect, but there's a lot to learn from Star Atlas's server and to take from, as well as putting your own spins and things that you would need to make your guild, I guess, the most comfortable and unique outside of Star Atlas's server. So.
Yeah. You're correct in that one, because we really need to adapt a lot, especially when we are growing so fast. Like, I think that the past month, at the beginning, we were in less than 10K members, for example, and right now we are at 70K. And all those people that are joining right now, they need to go somewhere. They need to have an onboarding process. So
Right.
there's a lot of thought and there's a lot of things that you need to change when you are growing. And also the people who join, they also have ideas to do inside Star Atlas. So you need to set up the environment for that. And I think that same approach can be taken from a guild standpoint. So
One of
I
the
think
things-
it's great.
Yeah, one of the things that we've done recently which actually addresses exactly what you're talking about is we now actually have an infrastructure within Rome that makes it easy for us to onboard people. From the moment a person joins our community, our Discord, they actually have a little brief application they fill out, and then within 24 hours, they're actually assigned one of our citizens as a sponsor and a point of contact that walk them through everything. So we've got it now to where we actually can increase our flow of guild members as they come in, and no one gets left behind.
Right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and also let me point out that I also learn a lot from what guilds do. So it's not like you said, Ray, that we learn from that you learn from us in terms of building the Discord server and the community as a whole. We also learn a lot from guilds, and we also implement a lot of things that we see that the guilds come up first. And
Right.
it's a good way of testing because, if it works in a guild of Star Atlas, it will also work inside Star Atlas. So we really take a look at what guilds are building.
Yeah, in relation to that, I think there's a lot of conversation around what a guild, deck shows. How's that show up in game, and how is it going to be leveraged? So I'm really curious, and I'm not asking for an answer, Santi, but I'm really curious about how the guild level tools are going to show up in the game, because I think there's a lot of opportunity for guild leaders collectively to kind of contribute to what that looks like in support of the guilds and also in support of Star Atlas.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot. I mean, we are going to be building all this together with you guys, like of course, and we take all the feedback and all the suggestions that you have for us. Like if you want to see things in some way, and if you don't like what you see, I said this before, but it's really serious, you know. If there's something that you feel that we can improve, or you have ideas on how you want this to be, it's great, like, to receive that feedback, reach out to us, and do it, you know. We really read, for example, I know that Danny, for example, reads the feature request section, and that's why I keep a lot of time, like, cleaning it up. And if you're listening to this, don't start a chat in the feature request because it says
Everyone, go.
don't start the chat in the feature request section because it says feature requests only, and we need to have that way, because Danny, for example, or any developer goes there and read it, and he needs to read all the feature requests, not the conversation.
Yeah.
And if we keep it like dirty, it's really difficult for them to read it. So yeah, that's
Well, you
the point of the feature request channel, and also to chat
Well,
with Swagger, for example.
Yeah, that's not a customer support channel.
Right.
No,
right.
it's not.
Well, you've done a good job with smart sheets on getting feedback on the game. Maybe you move something from your feature request into a smart sheet so there can't be a dialogue around it, because I think it's valuable. I think dev teams want to know what their communities have to say, and really some great ideas come out of the community.
Yeah.
So I see the value of it, but I get just as frustrated as well reading through things and having to scroll through 5 pages of dialogue before I get to the next feature request.
Yeah, I try to I delete the messages from feature requests, not because I want, and not because you can't discuss on feature requests, but that channel is just for developers to be able to read the feature requests. So yeah, we need to keep it clean.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits of actually being open like Star Atlas is, and building this with the community and taking these feature requests, because we're in uncharted territory. As this metaverse unfolds, it's really going to be a learning experience for everyone. It's kind of like being pioneers and hacking the bush with a machete and finding out and discovering things new for the first time. And so community is going to be a place where tons of new ideas will unfold, and we'll eventually probably see those things weaved into the game itself at some point.
Yeah, that could happen, of course. Yeah.
And I think I just wanted to make a note on what just said. I see that happening with every guild creating a DAO, right? Rome is not excluded from that, so that could be a little teaser there. Like, it is in the works, so stay tuned and join the Discord to learn more about it as time goes on. But not that there's a rush, because there shouldn't be for anyone to do anything at this point, unless you think otherwise. But that's just my opinion. And the natural flow of things, whether it's a guild for Star Atlas or any other, it seems to be a DAO that a group of people can congregate and build together underneath the umbrella of a Star Atlas or an Axie Infinity or any other game that can be successful.
Yes.
Yeah, in my mind, a DAO, if the dev team can put DAO functionality right within the game, that's a win right there, because it saves a lot of people the work of finding an engineer or finding a off-the-shelf platform. So I would love to see that kind of transition into the actual metaverse versus everyone coming up with their own solution, because it allows the money to flow, into the game and out of the game appropriately. But I know Michael talks a lot about third parties kind of developing for the platform. Go ahead.
Yeah. I wanted to mention something on that, because we really support third parties and people who build inside Star Atlas and who build features for Star Atlas. And if you feel like there is something that needs to be built and you are able to build it, we for sure will promote this. We for sure will drive people there, because if it is useful, we are going to use it, and the community is going to use it. And we have no problem on driving traffic there. I mean, if it's legit, obviously, like, leaving all this aside,
Right.
If it works, it's legit, and it helps people, we have no problem on driving people there,
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Awesome.
Any
other questions for us?
Oh.
So yeah, I have questions if you want, guys. Like
Yeah,
I don't know
go
if
ahead,
you have
man.
like a schedule for today that of things that you need to mention, like of the podcast itself, but I have questions, man.
Yeah, shoot
Like
from the hip.
We're long form.
Let's go
Yeah, we're
away.
long
Yeah.
form, man. We go 2.5 hours sometimes. So do what you got to
Okay,
do. Ask your
okay.
questions.
We got the drinks on here.
Okay. So I will like to ask you guys, like you, the 5 founders that we have here, like what's your background in gaming? What's your background in building
Good question.
guilds? Like because people will like to join like a guild with, and I'm sure that people like to know your background, and based on your background, we will be able to see what you are building for the future. You know what you will build. So I feel like it's important for someone who doesn't know Rome and doesn't know you guys to know this.
Absolutely.
Round robin. Jesse, why don't you go first?
Sure. So yeah, I found gaming's been I've been a big part of gaming again since I was a kid, going all the way back to TRS 80s from Radio Shack and Timex Sinclair 1000, little tiny block, using your computer, not using your TV screen as a monitor, and a tape recorder as your storage device. So I've been around computers and gaming for quite some time, and I've always been fascinated with strategy games. My dad was a double PhD economics and computer science, and so we gamed a lot together. And so he used to always kick my butt when it came to anything economic strategy wise and resource management. So learned a lot there. For trade, I've been a digital marketing consultant for the past 20 years, and I've built a number of internet-based companies, including communities larger than 50,000. And consult with others that have built communities into the millions. So very familiar with community building and structure and all that sort of thing. So yeah, when we all came together with all of our different skill sets and perspectives, it became a really exciting thing for us to begin building Rome and leading the growth of it together.
Fancy, you want to go?
I think he's muted. I'll go for now. So I started my very first gaming console was actually also a Sega. So that's why when people were saying, "Oh yeah, Paperboy wasn't on Sega," it's like, yeah, it was. Like I played a little bit of it too, but I had the Sega Genesis, so I had the one that could play both the American and the Japanese games. So there were times where I was playing games. I'm like, I have no idea what the premise of this game is. I just remember it's this little robot, and you can get different styles of how it shoots. So it shoots straight, it shoots wide like a shotgun, it doesn't shoot as far. And I couldn't get past the second level because those games are damn hard. But
Yeah.
other than that, it went from Sega to Nintendo to Xbox to PlayStation. So I played a little bit of everything. A little bit of PC, but as an only child, I mainly played more RTS games. I really like real-time strategy games. I love them. And then and then eventually, as I got older and I got more confident, I started playing multiplayer games like Call of Duty. Got my butt kicked. And then I stayed away from that for a bit until Battlefront really came out. Then I really got into that because I was like, cool, I can drive tanks and I can drive jets and fly them into the mountain because I suck. So I was like, I can do that. But yeah, that's my history in the gaming. And then crypto, I started watching it in 2013, but I was in the Navy at the time, so I couldn't really get into it. And then I started watching it again back in 2017, back when Bitcoin was $300 a pop. And I was like, man, I should grab a couple of these because these have really gone up since I last saw it. And then I just didn't have the money at the time. I didn't really know anything about crypto, so I kind of just watched it and just a little tear every time I just go 1,000, 2,000, 21,000, 10,000. I was like, oh man. And then finally and so now I'm fully into crypto, and I'm buying up and keeping an eye on everything and just going from there.
That's great, man.
Yeah,
Awesome.
my mic was on mute before, sorry. So I started in Warcraft 3, the custom games, the campaign, all of that. I played that for way longer than I thought would be possible. Like sometimes I still hop back onto that for a couple. But yeah, I'm the youngest, so that's like the first game I can properly remember. I also into World of Warcraft. I remember like the raid nights being too late for me. I wouldn't be able to like jump on in time for them. to finish the entire thing, so I wouldn't get a spot at all. Yeah, that was my first experience at like guilds, I guess. So yeah, haven't been into crypto that long, but lifelong gamer pretty much. I enjoy beating people, and then I hope there is a like an all chat or just a way you can send voice communications to someone before you kill them. That'd be great.
A little message to send you off with.
Yeah, like your first like missile could be a dummy. It has a speaker in it and it attaches to their ship and it plays like Gangnam Style or something stupid.
A little confetti. That'll be hilarious. Bravo! And then you die.
That's funny.
Oh, man.
Good stuff.
Ray, why don't you hit it?
Sure. So when I think about community, I think about family. So that's the first thing that popped into in my mind. And for the most part, that's all I've really done was take care of my family. And outside of working multiple jobs, at one time, but over the course of of years, I stumbled upon crypto. But all the while, and that was early 2016, I got involved in crypto. So I had to re-download or I had to upload every block of the Bitcoin blockchain in order to it was a tedious process back then, to say the least, when it came to just the early times, and your bank would deny your card and you had to call all these numbers. It was insane. The on and off ramps now are just like it's clear. It's the most exciting thing, even though people coming in now to say it's crap and it's slow and all these things. But besides that, my gaming background is every console, for the most part, up until I have all my consoles still in my dresser drawer, as well as handheld games. Zelda was a big one, and all the fighting games, really, like Tekken, Street Fighter. I kind of hopped on. I remember when I got my first GameCube, right? Even though Atari, even Sonic on Dreamcast. I just feel grateful to, and feel like I lived already 100 years with the experiences that I had growing up, because. And then even with Halo 2, we had the system link wire from one apartment window. I had to go up. I had to go up the fire escape or down the fire escape, depending on what apartment we were playing in. And we would play Halo 2. And in the cold of the winter, with the snow on the fire escape, I was always the adventurous go-getter, and I would put myself in harm's way so we can successfully play a competitive match of Halo 2. Like connecting the wire all the way up to the 6th floor when we were on the gaming days were great, and I pretty much, and then in the more modern age, Arc, I played some of that. I never played PC games because it never appealed to me, like not particular games. I was more of a console guy, but after building my own PC and having Steam at my disposal, as I was still young, when I was just playing all these consoles and handheld devices, this is where we are now. And with the onset of crypto and my involvement there, as far as community is concerned, I always been a part of a community, whether it was in school, on teams, or with family, right? Large groups, and hearing, listening more than speaking, right? So you always, when you're playing a game, you're listening, right? You're not talking to the game, right? So you're able to soak in more information, and that is one of the traits that flow over into the real world when you're just in a group of people, or you're just listening and needing to take part in a community. And I think it's a great trait to have, and playing video games definitely help with that, in my opinion. But other than that, crypto came into my world, and I basically stopped playing all console games for the most part. Outside of being busy with work and family, there was no point in my mind to continue playing and giving my money, right, to games and companies that aren't having this in mind, which is, as early as we are, this is what people need to be focusing on. So, Axie Infinity was my first blockchain game getting into back in October of last year, when Axis token wasn't even in existence. It was just a thought, and it was being worked on. And soon after that, I invested into Axie Infinity, and now we're here. Outside of the crypto coins that, cryptocurrencies that I invested in 2016. So we're here now, and it's a beautiful thing just to solely keep my attention on the space. Like my ears to the ground, and as much as you try to keep your ear to the ground just keeps falling from you, because there's so many new things happening. So do my best, with the NFTs and particular groups that you can be a part of to help with that. But It's an honor to be in your presence as well as everyone who's watching, and the history is rich, and we could go on, but that's my kind of. Yep.
I think there's also one member who's not here bona fide, and I just quickly I'll say he comes from a background of entrepreneurship and crypto investing. You know, he's got his fingers in a lot of different pots, so he's looking at NFT gaming from an entrepreneur perspective as well. And me personally, I come from a background of military, corporate operations, and corporate security, and that's kind of been my bread and butter for many years. I think I'm as old as Jesse are, or maybe a little bit older. So my gaming pedigree goes way back to the days of VIC-20s and TSRs and Ataris and Pong, all that stuff, and really being able to see the timeline of gaming as it's grown over time. My real MMO pedigree started with Everquest, and I was a 9-year player of Everquest and Everquest 2. And within that, that IP, I was guild leader for a very long time in one of the top guilds within the server we were on. A lot of raiding, a lot of competitive raiding, a lot of guild management. So we've got a number of people here who have been in guilds for a long time and understand the dynamics and the management needed to run a guild. It's not an easy thing. Some people get the idea that, I'm going to be a guild leader, and then all of a sudden, all this stuff just gets weighted on your shoulders, not only from the administration of a guild, but the interpersonal piece as well. And once you get to a guild, some of the largest gaming guilds in the world are upwards of 20,000 plus. And when you get to that level, how do you manage? You have to manage it differently than you would, a 100-person guild. So I think we've got the structure there for that. I'm happy for that. Between Everquest and now, what I can say is, my gaming has been less, but more focused on like first-person shooters, and some of the RPG games. I love the Fallout franchise. I love the Battlefield franchise. I love the, a lot of people hated on it when it came out, but man, I loved Cyberpunk when it came out because it was everything culturally that I love within what I read and what I watch on TV. So I really enjoyed that. But Star Atlas is the first game that's really got my juices flowing again for group content, right? And the guild Rome and the people that were affiliated really feel nostalgic in a way, because it reminds me of the days when we had these big groups. And I look forward to the day when a Rome fleet, gets out into deep space and just drags its big brass balls all over deep space, letting people know that we're here, and that we are a force to be contended with.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, man. Thank you all for sharing your thoughts. It's awesome to get to know you guys better.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, Santi, we've taken a lot of your time, but I'd like to give the group one more chance to ask any last-minute question of you, if you don't mind. Is that okay?
Yeah, man. No problem.
Anyone have a last-minute question for Santi?
Will you ever be visiting? I don't know where you're stationed now or where you reside, in what country. I think it might be Argentina. But are there any plans of traveling to the United States for, I guess, an event, maybe a future event that Star Atlas holds anywhere in the physical world?
I'm really looking forward to the time when we can start doing like community meetings in real life and events and everything. And I will really love to go there. So it's for sure in my plans, in my life plans.
Nice.
And yeah, I hope Star Atlas, it's already doing this, like getting to know a lot of cool people and people that you start considering friends in the community. Right. And I will really love to meet everyone in real life in some event or anything that we do. So it's really in my plans.
Great.
Nice.
I'll see you
Star
when
Atlas
you get
Con.
here then.
Yeah.
Convention.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, man.
We'll invite you to our table service at the club.
Thank you, man. I will go.
Yeah.
No, real life.
Yeah.
Anybody else have a question? No, all good. Santi, so glad to have you. We'll give you some closing thoughts. The table is yours. So honored that you're here with us today. We've been watching the viewer count and it's stayed consistent. And I think that's a reflection of the engagement you provide the community. You're doing a great job. Hat tip and much love to you and the whole Star Atlas development team.
Thank you, man. Thank you, and really enjoyed our talk. And And yeah, thank you for inviting me. It's an honor, and I will join anytime that you invite me, guys. It was really fun for me.
Awesome.
Thank
Just-
you.
You got it, man.
All right.
Well, we're going to continue on, Santi,
See you
with a few
guys.
more things. Thank you, Santi. Have a great afternoon. Or, yeah, I guess it's afternoon there. Have a great
Yeah, it's
afternoon.
afternoon. See you guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Bye, man.
All right.
Well, that was fantastic. That was, man, that was a breath of fresh air. I look forward to having more people from the Star Atlas dev team on with us. I know there's some conversations behind the scenes to get some other folks, but what a refreshing way to get more people introduced to Star Atlas. So what did you guys think of Santi's visit?
I think it's great. I mean, obviously, a lot of people that are watching might anticipate that he's got this whole bucket of intel that he's going to share. Obviously, he has limitations on what he can share, and in many ways, he learns a lot of things as we learn them. So it was great to just kind of get some perspective on what he sees from his end, from the community having grown. That was interesting for me to hear. Just as well as, some of the things he shared about how he wants to participate in the game, as a bounty hunter, which I think is pretty cool. I think it's amazing that we all get to, if you want to be a nightclub owner, if you want, whatever you want to do in the game, there's probably going to be an avenue for you to participate that way.
Yeah, I was going to say the one thing I wanted to say was you don't really think about the devs wanting to play the game. And then it's like they developed this great game. Millions of people are going to play. How are they going to play? Because they can't really officially join a guild without everyone being like, what the hell? Like, why is he over there? They have some kind of unfair advantage. Unless they start playing under incognito, under some other kind of name. Like, instead of saying Santanic, he's just not Santi. Like,
Right.
Okay, that's not obvious enough. But I'm just giving an example. It's like this. It's nice to see the human side instead of just the human connection of the dev team versus just we need to only they're just developers and that's all they do, and they're on the back end.
Right, because they're not just robots. I agree, and to that point, also what Jess was mentioning, that because Santi is not all knowing of everything that's going on, and with the recent crazy growth of the Discord itself, this is also for the new people watching. Your questions would have been answered maybe more in depth or quicker than they are probably now. So with a grain of salt, it'll help the team as well as the guilds that are involved with Star Atlas if you ask in more than one place. So don't just think that you need to get answers from Star Atlas itself. You could always look for different resources, but ultimately you still want to know what's going on. And they have many avenues to do that with whether it's the website, right, to learn about specific members on the team, right, the Discord where there's a whole bunch of links to every town hall that ever existed, on YouTube, on Santi's YouTube channel that we could probably share at some point, as well as the official link for the Star Atlas Discord, and our own guild, Rome, where you can come and ask questions. So it's not a burden, so much so with the increase of growth that they just recently had. So we can all pull our own weight and, help each other out.
Yeah. On the topic of Star Atlas, we did have some news that of things that happened this past week. We had the Fabricant launch, which was kind of like a digital or a virtual clothing line. And it was a pretty interesting launch, right? The clothing looked great. I'll bring up one right now just to kind of show folks what it looks like. But I love the fact that they're bringing in kind of a digital, I guess, more skins into the game that are by professionals. So I'm assuming this company, Fabricant, is a professional design company that's into fashion. What do you guys think about the clothes that were introduced, and what did you guys pick up?
Everything.
Okay, so I bought one of everything, and I have mixed feelings about it. I have mixed feelings about it, being that I have to ask myself, well, why did I? Well, I think the reason I did is because I'm pretty much an all-in at this point with Star Atlas. As is evident by my ship count and the other things that I see as a good future and a good investment. However, with this, it's hard to say because I don't really know what the utility is. We got some hints of utility, but it's just one of those things where, if this was to happen again tomorrow, I don't know that I would take part. I think I have a limited capacity for wanting to participate in little sidebar things that don't have an obvious in-game utility. So you got me once, but I think that's the only one.
Yeah. Anyone
Yeah.
else?
I think it was great that this is, again, sometimes the natural flow of different collaborations that take place within games, because the skin world in the gaming industry is a profitable one. So besides the profit-making component of just releasing skins within game that have certain effects on your team or crew or individual, I just took part because there's only going to be a certain amount of these ever, right? It's not like in other games where you can't resell it if somebody wanted it down the line, depending on your budget and what you can afford to lose or spend, right? So I just love how I wouldn't be able to take part in all of these, or wouldn't want to necessarily, depending on if I knew beforehand what the effects of having these skins or clothing lines would be. The added utility of burning it and actually receiving the jacket is great, right? I wouldn't buy a jacket in real life that costs that much money, but I love this I love this jacket and how it looks, because you don't necessarily see jackets like that that often in real life being sold.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Ray, because I never in my life have ever bought a piece of clothing that's this expensive. So it's a great point that you're making, that people are buying digital clothing for much higher prices that they would never buy, in the real world. Fancy, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I do have a few questions about the glow specifically. It would be really cool if we could get the vibrating pattern to change to like whatever we wanted. So I know most of Rome would want to get like the Phoenix on there somehow. That'd be quite cool.
That'd be awesome.
And we also want to know if they are stackable. So if you have one of these, are you only getting like 25% of the overall advantage you could be, even if you do have all of the badges? Or is it just like one per character? Yeah, there's a lot of things.
There's a lot there.
But I would imagine that like the next town hall, all of these things will be answered. Might even be special guests.
Yeah, behind the scenes, I think there was a lot of dialogue around, do the tags stack? Can you have more than one, outfit on a ship? Can you wear more than one outfit per person or per crew member? And the other thing that isn't clear to me yet is this something that you wear or that the crew wears, right? Are they looking at you and increasing their loyalty, or do they have to wear it to increase their loyalty? And we know that the jacket, the Primordial Glow, has some attributes tied to it that show up on the Medium article but didn't show up on the NFT itself. And I think there's some people who don't understand that there is some in-game advantages to some of these skins. For example, the jacket increases crew loyalty, social cohesion, and increases your overall good fortune in the metaverse. And that's the only one that really seems to have that many attributes, or tied to either a luck or an earning system. And I know a couple of you bought based on that perspective. What do you hope to get out of it if you got the bomber?
Well, when it comes to just clothing, NFTs, or skins in general, what giving them its value is for all the utility that they're going to add on, either on the onset of selling it, or what they can add to it as the game goes on. Depending, there could be, you never know, there could be a mission for the jacket itself. And then if you complete the mission with the jacket on, there's a added bonus to whatever stat that it's going to help increase for the crew synergy, or it's almost endless when it comes to the NFT space with these types of things. And I look forward to it all, and that's why I could more or less put this much money towards a jacket, which you can also claim for and burn the NFT to have it in real life. So the in-game value of it is going to be way more, I guess, than $400 US dollars if you're going to be having it and then playing the game with it. I'm guessing you would make that back easily in Atlas if you're going to be playing the game on a regular basis. But who knows?
You just shared something, Ray, that I don't know that I knew or understood. Did you say you can burn the NFT to get a real life copy?
Yeah, so uniquely.io is a company that you see a lot of YouTubers doing these merch lines, and it's through a third party. I forget the name, but it's like automatic, and they take care of the shipping and packaging. And I forget the name, but uniquely.io, they have their own coin, Unique, and what you'd be able to. I don't know if Star Atlas paired up with them to do this. I didn't. They would have mentioned that, but if it's a separate company altogether, it's still something that you'd be able to do. If they have these in stock in the real world, and you burn this via whatever, you send it to an address to be burned, I guess that they would give you Star Atlas. There's many ways I guess you could go about it, but then you would just have this jacket that's made sent to you. And I remember, I think it was in the Medium article that it was shared that you would be able to do that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a possibility, and it's happening right now with different with other projects like Uniquely.
Awesome. Anyone else have any thoughts on the attributes of the jacket?
Well, just to follow up on what Ray said, about these jackets, just to make sure there's a timer, right, of when these are gone, and then the rest are going to get burned. Is that true?
That's for
what
the badges, I believe.
For the
So
badges.
the clothing is going to be around for a while, but the badges, these kind of feel like they're going to be more in demand, like late game than the actual clothing, perhaps, because all of these badges, it seems like there's going to be more of them, like implemented as maybe like mission rewards, and you're going to be able to tell who started at the very beginning because they're gonna like rock up to a mission looking like a Boy Scout or a Korean general.
We don't have that picture loaded, but there is an appropriate picture for this conversation for sure. Fandy, if you can find that picture, we will absolutely put it up. But I think we found the real world equivalent to this jacket or this clothing line out in North Korea somewhere. So
Yeah, it could just be a case of there's a job application for like a capital ship, and you get all of the people up in the line, and you just, from eye glance, you can tell who has the most badges.
well, from a theory craft perspective, you bring up something really a cool idea, Fancy, is if you have the ability to attach these tags in the future, could guilds assign medals and ribbons that can be attached to your clothes as well that you can kind of wear as your wall of shame or wall of fame, if you will, right? All the things you've done displayed on your chest through ribbons and medals. I think that'd be awesome. So, put that idea out into the metaverse for anybody who's a designer. I would love to see that show up in game.
That'd be pretty cool.
So the other, kind of going into the next piece, we had the T-shirt. It's kind of the same themes. We see the same graphics. We see the straps and the tags. I think all of these things have different, things that will appeal to other people. However, they do have different attributes. So this one, the T-shirt, slightly increases crew loyalty and social cohesion. And I'm curious to see how that shows up. I can, in my mind, think about how the loyalty works from a back-end perspective. But how do you guys think the social cohesion thing, what does that mean to you when you see that?
I think that I believe that one of the ones was if they go to the same university, if they've been on the ship for a while, that they start getting team buffs, and I think this is going to help increase that buff.
Got it. That makes sense. Anybody else?
Yeah, pretty much. I would think it's pretty straightforward as the cohesion between the team to work together. So I'm thinking if there was someone on a gunner and then someone on repairs, if they were getting attacked, and then someone needing to operate the ship itself, right? It might be you, but I think there's going to be less lag in between getting things done on the ship if you're pressed for time, or if there's something that needs to get taken care of that require more than one person on the job. So I think it would probably take less time. Maybe there's a decrease in time for a repair. If there's more than one thing that needs to get done, and not just from the guy who does repairs, there might be something like that.
Yeah, we don't yet know the impact of buffs overall, because we do know that the space cat, the Tigus, that those are stackable as far as giving a buff to ship repair. We know that if you have the right combination of crew, it gives a buff to the ship and its abilities. We know that if they trained at the same academy, that plays a role, and we know that the longer the amount of time that they've been together in service it has a role for buffs. So when it comes to the buffs that these badges and that this clothing line provides, we just don't know if it's so fractional that you really wouldn't notice, because that's what's going to determine overall the value of the perspective value. Well, there's two. There's the intrinsic value of, there's the people that like it for the nostalgic portion of it, and then there's those that are looking for the actual buff that you're going to get, and we just have no way of knowing what that's going to be.
Yeah, and that's really how I approached it. I approached it from a min-max perspective. I'm a person who likes skins, but I don't go crazy on the skins. I look more at, is this asset going to generate value for me? And from a min-max perspective, it's kind of the buffs. And I put my toes in the water. I didn't go all in like some of you, and I went with just the scarf. And kind of, I can be the metaverse Doctor Who now, and kind of show up with my scarf and still support, but I'm holding back a little bit. I'm cautiously waiting to see how much this stuff shows up, because at the end of the day, am I going to put $500 into a ship that's going to generate assets or a mining claim, or am I going to generate $150 into this scarf, and is that going to give me a return over time, and will it be the same return?
So you didn't get the socks or the earmuffs?
No, I took a pass on those. But I'll remain open on them. We got Kevin in the comments said all the other pieces of clothing besides Primordial give a smaller amount of those bonuses for cohesive and crew loyalty. So what it sounds like he's sharing is that there's different attributes that are provided, and it looked like it was based on value. The bomber gives the most, the t-shirt gives the second most, and then the scarf and the I guess the most unique one, in my opinion, the Kango one. Yeah. They give just crew loyalty, and what I love about the aesthetic here is it really fits with what they're going on with Star Atlas, right? We've got this EDM music that's pumping, it gets you motivated. The clothes kind of fit that aesthetic. We've seen some similar Ooster fashion in previous releases that kind of give a cool vibe. And it goes back to something they said previously about how Star Atlas Metaverse is not going to be this dark, grungy space metaverse. There's going to be color, there's going to be fashion, there's going to be things that pop. What'd you guys think of this one?
I liked it. I liked this one doesn't exactly show the neon, but in the animated version, you could see like the rim of the hat there and the little side things that hang down. That they had like a neon pink kind of color, and so it's definitely something I could see you rocking in one of the the nightclubs within a Rome territory in the Oni faction.
Yeah, if you can stack these, I think I will get this one. Fancy hats are my type of thing. If you can't stack them, then from the min-max perspective, I went for the max in this case. Yeah. The jacket.
And I think in fairness to the people who are watching, these are still shots of very dynamic resources, right? This is all about flashing and moving. It would be neat to see if they pulse with music, kind of like those LED lights you can put up in your room, or if you will. So they are very fashionable. They are very attractive. I guess I'm sitting at the place where I had to buy a scarf and then bought 9 or 10 tags on top of that. I think within the buying process, I would have liked to have been able to press one button and buy all the tags.
Yes, absolutely. Rather than going back in 14 times. But is this here the image that you imagine?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's awesome. So
it is 10 badges, I believe, and the moon patch thing you get from Armstrong Forever, that might also belong on the straps as well. So that's already 11 before the game's launched. Sorry.
Anything Armstrong is human specific.
Yeah. Got it. Well, Jesse, if you could bring that picture up one more time. Sure. This is exactly the picture that went through my head when I saw these tags. I'd seen this picture before, and I was like, "Oh my God, we're gonna look just like these guys." And just from my background and what I know about, I guess what's behind this picture, it's a lot of flash and a lot of show, and I think it's awesome that most games, when they have skins, it's not about the flash and the show. So I really do appreciate that. But I don't want to be walking around the metaverse looking like these guys.
Well, if you run out of
That's
room
not
on
my
your
goal.
body, you'll have to scale size pins for your ship. Maybe you just throw one
or
on.
maybe my Tigu can have a bunch of tags too,
There
right?
you go.
Yeah.
A little
So-
strap on a TV.
Yeah.
But
Being in the
it does. Go ahead.
I was
Randy.
just say, being in the Navy, I'd rather just have my ribbon stack. I don't really care for the medals too much.
Yeah,
A lot
I'm
more
with you, man.
manageable.
Yeah, especially if you've ever had to go through the process of actually pinning your medals on your uniforms. It's a pain in the ass. The thing here that I'm a little bit, I don't want to say concerned, I guess it's a minor critique, is we've been involved with other game platforms that kind of launch these things that you don't know what they are, and they don't give you a lot of understanding of how this is going to show up in the metaverse. And up to now, we've had ships, we've had mining claims, we have some badges. Those are all pretty clear. The clothes and the badges here feel a little bit more unknown. Like, I'm not calling it a money grab. I don't think Star Atlas is doing that at all. I don't think they're doing any sort of rug pull. But this one feels a little bit more murky than some of the more concrete assets we've been talking about.
Yeah, I think we can take the photo down now.
Yeah. We're probably on some NSA list right now for displaying it too long, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, people are tuning in at this point in the show and they're just saying,
Yeah.
North Korea's like,
come back.
NFTs, that's what we need to make.
Right, exactly. Next week we'll all be Kim Jong something as our names on our on our titles. So anything else to say about the clothing? I think it was I think it was a cool thing to see. It doesn't wow me the way some of the other assets do, but I understand it. I think there's a group of people who love fashion in games. This is really going to resonate with them. But any last thoughts on the clothing?
Yeah, well, the top of the line stuff anyway, it seems like something that it would be good if it gave like a flat bonus. So if you had a $30,000 ship, a $500 jacket, if it gave like 10%, it might be worth it. Well, it would definitely be worth it. But if you're using it on like a Opal jet, 10% would definitely not be. So it's more about what you're aiming for. Like,
I'll tell you for me that what I'm most interested in when it comes to skins and cosmetics and things like this are not necessarily the partnerships with brands, but I'm really looking forward to what players and people within the ecosystem and the environment itself within the metaverse, what they create. I'd love to see like an artist come in and do something that's unique, limited to 15, and that becomes a ship skin, or it becomes, a jacket or something like that you wear. That to me is more exciting, things that evolve and come from within rather than externally through brand interaction.
yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
and
mention too. Yeah.
Go ahead, Ray.
We're going to have people creating their own clothesline and bringing it in from the outside world or just from inside, right? There'll be stores to buy new clothes from. If you ever played GTA, right, you're going to just be able to outfit your guy with whatever you want. Different styles, different hats, and then different people are going to make them, I suppose, because then we'll just have regular people and just Star Trek clothing on our ships that become stocked with, and that would be that. But I highly doubt that's going to happen.
Yeah, you bring up a good point around other IP, and I know there's this talk about metaverses being Ready Player One, and you can incorporate anything into the world and kind of have it show up. I have a different mindset on that. I don't want to see TIE fighters flying around Star Atlas. I don't want to see the Millennium Falcon. I think there's a belief that people want to bring in their favorite shows, and we all have them. We all have our favorite space shows that kind of draw us to Star Atlas. But I'm not one who wants to see like Darth Vader walking down the space station in some sort of cosplay. It just doesn't do it for me. It kind of breaks the realism. I think the thing that I want to see from skins at the outset is, guilds able to either their clothing or their spaceships identify themselves through assets that you stick to the outside of your clothing or your spaceship.
Yeah, maybe there'll be a specific reason, like a party that you would have to go to where you can only use your selected or created Darth
Yeah.
Vader, type of NFT or skin. So it wouldn't be something that kind of ruins, I guess, like you said, the experience of it being a unique Star Atlas game universe. Metaverse.
That's a great point, man. Yeah, I guess if you do like a virtual EDM concert and you've got people dressed up there and you see that stuff, totally fits, totally makes sense. But I don't want to see a Star Destroyer flying past our space station anytime soon, right? Or the Death Star.
I do have one little thing. I just want to add. This is just pure speculation, but if you notice, there's the hat, and I think it's like a little vest, the scarf, the shirt, and the bomber jacket. Those are different pieces of article of clothing. Like maybe they might combine them, kind of do like the NFT, where you can combine the NFTs together to make one bigger NFT or like one better NFT altogether to give a bigger bonus. I don't know. Just looking at it.
I hope you don't have an epileptic fit after looking at all that stuff shining in so many different directions, right? I mean, you'll be a walking, like, shining bright star walking down the hallway with all that clothing on.
But I wouldn't put it past them where if you did buy each one of them, there would be some, a leak or surprise where if you did, you would be able to stack the rewards or the benefits of each one, which might seem insignificant now, but you never know. Then you have a whole suit, and you're outfitted with a good health / crew, community, synergy, upgrade, boost, whatever you want to call it.
So I don't know if there's anything else that happened in the Star Atlas universe this past week that we need to discuss. Is there anything on anyone else's mind?
I don't know about it as an event wise, but I do think it's pretty safe to say that I think we were notified that the anticipation of the registration that was supposed to take place this coming Tuesday, at least it's my understanding that has now been delayed. Is that a general consensus?
Yes. No, Michael said it himself that it's going to get delayed. Only that I believe it was they wanted to implement a couple of other features into it before they do it, and he said it's going to be worth the wait.
Yeah.
I just wanted. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, yeah. And my hope is that part of that integration will be that during the sign-up process, you can register your guild, because it seemed a little strange to have registration before where you sign up, register your account, you select a faction, but seems to me it would create some confusion and some things that are irreversible if by chance you are, for example, we know that regardless of which faction you choose, you still have the opportunity to be any of the races. And so I could see instances where people will make the mistake and perhaps choose a faction that's different than the guild they intend to be associated with. So perhaps now one of the things, being that they have some time, developers, if you're listening, would be great if part of the sign-up process involves you registering, then choosing your guild, and then a thing that pops up and says, well, the guild that you've chosen has selected this as a faction. Do you want to select that as a faction also, or would you like to select another? At least that way you kind of get a prompt so that you're going in the right direction rather than the potential for making a mistake.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think there is going to be some murkiness there, and there's going to be some people who get caught up in it. I just hope there's not too much of a financial burden for the people who might have picked one thing and then look for another guild. I think it's worth saying again that if you are interested in Rome, we're going Oni. So that doesn't mean you have to choose an Oni race. You can be human, you can be AI, you can be alien. But at the end of the day, if you're still looking for a faction, whether it's Rome or another guild, you might hold off on picking your faction assignment until you really know who you want to align yourself with. Ray, were you going to say something there?
Oh no, I was just throwing up the good old.
Oh,
I was throwing that up.
There you go. Yeah, when it's straight up and down, it means something different, right? It's kind of like the British and their peace sign, one way or another, right?
Right.
So one of the things I did mention earlier, just again to kind of reiterate this for the people that perhaps did not see it mentioned within the Star Atlas Discord and chat with Swagner in that thread. One of the questions that I asked was, what are the developers doing to mitigate potential time-space hacking of people having multiple wallets and being able to transfer assets with the assumption that the asset immediately gets transferred across time and space to another faction or wherever the other owner of the wallet might be located. And one of the things that engineers and, of course, Michael Wagner himself came back with is that within each of the NFTs, there is an XY coordinate. So let's say, for example, that you do have two wallets, and let's say that you are in multiple factions. You're in the Oni faction, you're in Mud faction. If you actually transfer something that is in wallet A that happens to exist in Mud faction, and you transfer it to wallet B for someone that exists in Oni faction, the item still stays exactly where it was, and you have to arrange for transport to get it from point A to point B. So that's the way that they've kind of eliminated that as a hack. So something to be aware of for anyone that has or is looking to have multiple wallets and be associated with multiple factions.
That's how the Star Atlas FedEx just came about.
Yeah, I think people are really sleeping on certain assets like the pack light, right? I think some people are missing the opportunity that this stuff is going to have to move from one point to another. And I don't know if the pack light is going to allow ships to be transferred within it, but there's going to be a need or even a business model for people who are going to make money off of moving stuff from point A to point B, and the people who are protecting them as well. There were some questions in the chat I just want to pop up because I think they're worth talking about here. Summer Solstice said, can you earn the clothing or other accessories in the game later? I think the answer is we don't know, but do you guys have some thoughts about how you'd like to see it show up?
I think you'd be able to earn accessories. Maybe they'll have a certain amount they give out for rewards, but also for completing certain objectives within the game. There could be special events or missions that have to be completed with a specific ship, and then because there's only a limited amount of these jackets that might be left over, if not sold or pins, then you'll get rewarded one and it'll get dropped to your wallet. There's many ways that they could incentivize just the missions, but then doing particular things like traveling to a certain star. Whoever gets there first, there could be a race to a planet to get something, or who could mine the most resources of a particular or resource, and then you'll get rewarded if you bring it back in time to the shop to whoever wants to buy it, right? The NPC store. There's a lot of creative ways.
NPC bounty, that'd be a pretty cool way to earn a unique NFT.
Yeah.
Just like in Destiny.
Pull the clothes off the dead guy.
See that guy floating in space? Make sure you take his shoes and socks. So
well, back in the Civil War, that's how they took some of their bounties. They took boots, they took instruments, they took they killed people and they took their assets. So I guess if you're out in deep space and you want a nice primordial glow, look for the guy who's wearing it and flaunting it in the space station, right?
Yeah.
And then go ahead, Jesse.
Oh, I was just going to say that before we left the idea of XY coordinates for stuff, we talked about how we like memes within our guild, and I was going to pop up a meme that I created here real quick, which is this one here.
There you go.
It'll get to you.
And let's not get lost on the number of ships in that picture either, right? So there's an underlying statement there that I think is being made, and we'll let people read between the lines. So the other question that was brought up in relation to the clothing and the attributes that's tied to it is in the return on investment. Is Kevin talks about putting a primordial glow on a capital ship, and we know that the ships, the way Michael has talked about them, is your return is proportionate to your investment, right? So 1%, maybe it gives a 0.5% bonus to your earnings. That makes a lot of money when you start talking about some of these big ships, right? That can really add up over time, and then yes, that investment makes absolute sense. But if you're putting it and riding around on an X4, the return on that is going to take a long time to pay off, right?
Oh, you'll pay off the X4 pretty quick, but
yeah. Yeah. It's kind of funny. You see, at least in the United States, you see people with these really, really fancy cars, and they get out and they look like they haven't, they shopped at Goodwill. So I wonder if it's going to be the same way. You've got this guy on this X4 who's dressed to the nines and looks like he's put 10 times the money into his clothing than he did into his spaceship. It's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out.
He lives in his Opod?
Yes. Yeah, but it's the best looking one out there.
Right.
You know what?
Any other? Oh, go ahead, man.
Yeah, no, it just occurred to me that if the real life is going to be in the metaverse, then drugs. I don't know how it popped up in my head because I'm not a user of any. But for the record, but if there's going to be a drug that could be created,
Yeah.
pharmaceutical industry that boosts your health, right, or gives you some type of extra boost to strength for a limited time, you're going to get addicted in a sense when you're going to go out for particular raids. So there's a business model here that we can replicate in the metaverse for whoever out there. Like if there's marijuana and it could just give you a more resolve than another, or it could affect the whole strength of a ship. And you're going to only have to go to the dealer in the particular star system that you're in to
It's
get it.
it's already in the white paper. They already mentioned
Yeah.
stims.
There
Yeah.
you go. So stim
So
packs,
they're
just
going to
like
be
Fallout.
stim packs, stimulants.
go.
Yeah, there will be some.
So,
And for any MMO has any modern MMO has this mechanic, right? It has an alcohol or a drug or a potion, and some of them take it to the next level where they bring addiction into it, where your performance is worse unless you're taking it. But when you take it, the enhancements are great. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that show up. And you know, Ray broke Breaking Bad into Star Atlas. We have a future drug dealers or metaverse digital drug dealers thinking about their future operation.
Pharmaceuticals.
you learn a lot
Wouldn't it be
from
interesting? Wouldn't it be interesting though if they actually had it so that you had diminishing returns from use, but then also you had like other side effects that started to bring
Right,
down
right.
other stats over a period of
We have,
time?
like, the loyalty to the crew. If you're gonna be, if you don't have enough stim or drugs for all of the crew, then the one that's taking it is gonna look at like and be frowned upon. So now the camaraderie of the group of the ship is gonna falter over time. And unless you go to the hospital, like what is a hospital gonna look like in the freaking metaverse for aliens? Or are they gonna be prejudiced? Are we only gonna have alien hospitals and then humans aren't allowed? Like what's good? These are all rules that the person could set themselves, and it's going to be interesting because then there'll be a tax on those businesses. There'll be some redlining that takes place. Yeah, there's definitely going to be some treatment centers, redlining, AA meetings. I see it all happening.
Way
We're
too
gonna
close.
Have social workers. We're going to have social workers and counselors. That's all you're going to be seeing across the metaverse.
You know, the picture that comes to mind with that is the Mad Max movie where they're all taking that inhalant drug that turns their face silver, right? So we're going to see a bunch of aliens with silver around their mouths,
Don't do drugs.
indicating their addiction. Too close to home. Not, I shouldn't say too close to home, but too close to reality. I don't think I want to deal with AA in the metaverse. I think people need an escape, not something to solve their life problems.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Nice.
Oh, awesome,
More sketch
awesome.
work
Who wants-
here. Very cool.
Yeah. Somebody bring that up. Somebody talk about what this is.
It looks like Ray and Santi just going off on that interview. Really, this I can't quite remember their name. Who's
Silstar.
Silstar. Yeah, every week they're creating this, and it's just getting better and better. I love it.
It is. I'm getting jealous. So for future episodes, my left side is my better side.
Yeah, last week I talked about how the guy in one of the PX4 images, he's like riding along naked. So at the end of the episode, there was a picture of me on a PX4 naked with like a Roman helmet.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
follow-
awesome. Well,
Great. I love these. Those are great.
and Fancy, you didn't have to get on camera to get a drawing done of you already. Jesse's been on camera the whole time, and he's still waiting for his drawing.
What's
People
it?
love mystery.
Well, I know we've got Ray. His comms are down right now. I think we're going to close it out here. We're sitting at around 2 hours and 18 minutes. I think Ultra wanted to kind of give a public service announcement, I think is
Yeah.
what you were sharing before we
Yes.
closed out. Why don't you do that?
So really important. I know there's been a lot of scammers going around, especially that Atlas airdrop. Do not fall for it. As Star Atlas will not send anything to you. If they do airdrop anything, they're not going to even ask you. They already know everybody's. They're pretty much going to do a snapshot of everybody's wallet, and if they're going to airdrop what they need to, they're never going to reach out to you for information. They're never going to reach out to you saying, "Hey, we got this stuff. You need to do this or that." So if it sounds too good to be true, question it. You can always ask the guild. You can ask Rome. You can ask IA. You can ask EAP. You can ask, but probably the best place to ask is the Star Atlas Discord itself. just ask. If you don't know, if you even have just the tiniest hint of doubt, ask, and they will tell you, yeah, this is true, or no, it's a scam. Don't even do it. And probably the best way to stop getting scammed, because I've been getting these things like 8 to 10 times a day, and it's getting really annoying. I've just turned off my where you can't direct message me anymore unless you're a friend. So you're gonna have to friend request me first. If I know who you are, I'll add you as a friend, and then you can start direct messaging me. But just don't fall for these scams. Too many people are falling for them, and we don't need anybody. We don't need to feed these scammers. They need to go away.
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you everybody for joining. Again, if you'd like to learn more about Roam, we have a URL that we'll place in the description that you can find us. We're here every week from supporting the play to earn metaverses. Right now, we're 100% focused on Star Atlas. It really has caught our passion. But we love to continue the dialogue after our podcast. So feel free to stop by if you're interested, either just in chatting or joining Roam. We're there. And then also next week, we'll have some updates on some of the other games that we are following. There are some good updates to share. But that said, we'll see you next week. Have a great week, everyone.